It is Sunday afternoon and I am back in the Montana garage to try to get some work done. What we got going on today is 55 Chevy still off to the side. We got the Raptor liner sprayed the other day, so now it's time to get to work on this frame. I have a little bit of a list of things I got to get done, and then I would like to get that sprayed. That's kind of the next thing on the list. So I had planned on being out here all day today, but it's like 4 o'clock and I'm just getting started. I kept getting distracted. So it's time to get this frame prepped and sprayed. I sandblasted this thing probably somewhere around a year ago. I don't remember exactly. I think I made a video of it. I know I took footage of it. I honestly don't remember right now if I put a video up on YouTube or if I never got that one finished. But look back through the channel there and see if you can find it, or I'll try to put a link up there if I can find it. Anyways, it's been a while. It's been like a year. I've been moving it back and forth between my house shop or my house garage and my shop, trying to keep it out of the way and keep it dry. Again, we have a pretty dry climate here, so I've been pretty lucky. It's been bare metal since then. I do have a little bit of kind of a few spots of a little bit of like surface rust. I already started kind of grinding some of them off, so maybe I already got them all. Just little things like this guy right here, you know, little spots like this. So on the list to do today is one of the things I got to do is clean the whole thing up. So since it's been sitting so long, I would think sandblasted, you know, metal is good enough of a base. It does. The SPI Epoxy does recommend like a 80 grit DA'd surface, so I'm going to clean the whole thing up with a DA as much as I can, and then hand sanding. And all these spots like this, I'll grind off a little better. There's only a few, you know. There's there, here, a little bit here. So it's just a little bit of stuff that's starting. So I got to get this whole thing cleaned up. This little bracket here is for, originally these had a, well, this one had a 3-speed on the tree, but I think they must have put this bracket on all of them because this is for the standard and this is for the Power Glide. But this was used for the Power Glide linkage, so I don't need that. So I'm just gonna get rid of that. I got 3 spot welds down there to drill out, and we'll get that out of the way. Just one less thing to be in the way for exhaust or whatever else. I got a little, this frame horn right here. That weld is cracked, so we're going to clean that up and re-weld that. I'm going to give the whole thing a once over and see if there's anywhere else I want to weld. I'm going to, somebody at some point had something welded to the side of these, I guess, frame horns. So there's some big ugly weld on each side. I'm going to clean those up. I may just clean up some of this stuff that you're going to see. I'm not going to go crazy on it, but some stuff right here on the front that people will actually see when the hood's up or whatnot, I might kind of try to get that smoothed out a little bit. And then obviously I'll have to flip it over and do the same thing. So that's kind of the first task at hand, is just getting it cleaned up and ready. So what do you say we get this thing put up on some jack stands and get to work before we waste the whole day away? Jeez, I got to get something done. All right, we got the frame up on the lift. Well, I don't have a lift, but we got it lifted with the jack stands, make it a little bit easier to work on. So like I said, I got some surface rusty type stuff, so here's a little bit more of it. Maybe you can see this a little better back here. The light's a little better, but there's just a little bit of that type stuff everywhere. So we're going to go over the whole thing with a fine-tooth comb, do some touch-up sanding, get it all cleaned up. I've been lucky because this thing's been bare metal for a year, like I said, so we have a dry climate. So I know a lot of you guys can't leave anything in bare metal, but the longer I wait, the more rust happens, so we got to get her taken care of. Kind of having the same issue on the body over there too. It's been bare metal for way too long. I don't even know, 3-4 years now, and I've been lucky, but there is a little bit of surface rust starting here and there from people touching it, and I don't know if I can really show you any right now because it's up in the air. There was a bunch right here, and I kind of sanded it off. You can see a little bit there, a little bit where this welding was taking place. Like this stuff here on the front panel. So there's a little bit of that stuff starting and going on. So I've been kind of hemming and hawing and trying to decide how I wanted to handle this body work. I haven't had time, or I'm not really concerned about body work at this point, but you know, I didn't know. I used to always do body work on top of the bare metal. That's kind of how I learned from my uncle that showed me the stuff. But nowadays, it seems like a lot of people do it on top of the epoxy. But anyways, I think I'm gonna I'll do a video here soon. Once we're done with the frame, I'm probably gonna get the body all cleaned up, and then we're just gonna squirt a layer of epoxy on that whole thing because I'm tired of seeing the surface rust start and I want to get it protected. So then somewhere down the road, then I'll have to either grind that off to do the body work, or you can do the body work on top of the epoxy. But at least with this SPI stuff, they say if you miss your 7-day window, then you have to, they say to scuff it. And then I think somewhere I read you got 30 days. You could, after 7 days, you have to scuff it, and you could apply up to 30 days. You can just apply your body work on top of that. Once I squirt it, it's gonna be a lot more than 30 days. It'll probably be next year at this time. So then I'll have to scuff the epoxy, squirt another coat of fresh epoxy on it, and then I can do my body work on top of that. So unless I find something else, that's kind of what my plan will be at this point. So stay tuned for a video turning the whole thing black. All right, first things first. Let's get this automatic transmission linkage bracket off here that I don't need. All right, I might try a smaller one to get started first, I guess. Didn't seem like that was working too good, either that or this drill bit might just be dull as can be. At least we're making some metal now. I don't want to drill a hole through it. Looks like we're doing something. Well, guess it ain't free yet. I thought I could see it wiggling. Thinking about it finally. Bada bing. So I was kind of hoping I'd get it off without ruining it. I definitely bent it. I mean, I wouldn't say it's ruined, but I can't imagine anybody ever needs this. I mean, I think probably most everybody takes them off, so there's probably a surplus of these laying around. But if you want this, let me know. I'm sure it can be straightened out and reused if you need it. Just kind of getting started here. I just cleaned up a little bit of ugly welding. So this is where that bracket was welded on. There's still a couple little divots there, and I'm not gonna go through the trouble to fill those in, but I can't grind them all away, or it'll just be, metal will be too thin. But so there's that, and I had these big ugly welds on the edge of the frame horn here. Got rid of those. I don't know what somebody had welded there. I cleaned this up a little bit because this right here needs re-welded. And then I just got rid of a couple little weird welding trails, kind of like. And so now what I'm doing is I'm attacking the surface rust, and I got this 80 grit flap disc on my cordless, and it seems to work pretty good for getting like the most of it off. So there was a little surface rust here, so I just hit it with that, and then I'm going over top of that with 80 grit on the DA, and it's not leaving, it's getting it pretty clean and not leaving any super big deep scratches that are going to show through the primer, because you know I'm just doing epoxy primer. I'm not going to like do primer and then surfacer and wet sand and all that fancy stuff. So just trying to knock down, they say 80 grit DA scratches is what you want in this metal for the epoxy to bond, but I just don't want any super deep scratches. So it seems like this is working pretty good with the 80 grit flap disc and then the DA. So pretty much I'm not gonna go over the whole thing with the flap disc, but just where there's surface rust. And then most of the whole thing, just a quick hit with the DA, and then I'll probably do a little hand sanding too, because there'll be places where the DA can't get into, obviously. All right, so that's one side mostly done with the flap disc and then 80 grit and DA. It's gonna be just a lot more of the same thing for the next little while, so I'll bring you back if anything exciting happens, or when we're all done and we'll see what it looks like. All right, so I went all the way around, outside, inside, and top of the frame. I got everything I can get with the DA and the little grinding pad. Why does my brain quit every time I turn the camera on? You know what I was doing, right? Yeah, so I did all that. And then, so now I'm just going along and I'm getting next to some brackets, probably doing way more than I needed to as usual. But I'm gonna try to just kind of hand sand the spots that I couldn't get with the DA, just so that, you know, I got some 80 grit scratches on everything. And then at that point, I'll have to get some help out here and see if I can flip this upside down, and I'll just have the bottom to do. All right, so that is a pretty good round of hitting it with the flap disc, because that's the thing I couldn't think of earlier, and the DA with 80 grit, and then going along and hand sanding a lot of the spots that the flap disc and the DA couldn't get into. So should have done like half of it and showed you like before and after, but I think it looks pretty darn good. I got all the surface rust I can find off of it, and she's pretty clean. So I still have to do the bottom side. It's archery season for antelope started a couple days ago here in Montana. So Trey, of course, is hunting because that's what he likes to do. So he's hunting with Grandpa. So I'm here by myself. So I'm trying to remember if I flipped this thing over by myself or not. I might have done it once by myself. So anyways, I think I'll give it a try. So we'll see if I can do it. If not, I'll have to wait for some help so that I can get the bottom taken care of. So I think what I'll do next is pick up all my used paper, sweep the floor a little bit so I can blow off the frame, and then we'll try to flip it over. Well, wouldn't you know, it's another day and I'm back out here in the Montana garage. Time to get back to work on this frame. I'm not sure where I left off on this project. You know, I was cleaning it and I needed help getting it flipped over. That's probably where we left off because Trey was out of town. He's been back now, so we've had it flipped over for a few days. I got a little distracted by this thing over here, DD Speed Shop 57 Chevy. So I've been working on that for a couple days. There'll be updates on that coming, or I don't know, maybe you already saw those updates. I'm not sure which order this stuff is going to post in, but anyways, I got to get back to work on this. I have to get this side all cleaned up. I have one weld to fix, factory weld that broke, up by the front of the frame. I got to find a way to get it up in the air. I have two kind of cheap plastic type sawhorses that might be strong enough to hold one end, and then I got to figure out something for the other end. I got to move the 55 over here, get the frame set up over here, and then build my little plastic wall because it's not staying warm enough at night for this epoxy to cure properly. So I'm gonna have to fire the old furnace up at night. So I got to put a thermostat on there. I haven't done that yet. So I got a bit of stuff to do. Fill propane tank. It's like, I don't even know how hot it is today. It feels pretty hot. It's probably 90 degrees out, very end of August, but it's getting cool at night. So I got to have some heat overnight. So I got a little list of things to do. Hopefully I'll get it done between today and tomorrow. Well, that was easy, or at least it should have been. There we have it. This thing's not perfect, but it's about as clean as I'm gonna get it probably. You know, there's still some little bit of grease that I didn't want to come off up in here, and definitely in there. I ain't gonna worry about that. I mean, if it's coated in grease, it's protected and nobody's gonna see in there. It'll get a layer of black on top of the grease to hide the fact that it's grease. I don't know, it'll be good enough for me. Say most of it's pretty good. There's a couple little, you know, in these pockets inside the frame. Who knows what inside of the frame looks like. But I think all I got left to do is get it flipped over and fix one weld. And then it's just preparing the shop here to be able to spray it and keep it warm enough. Get it up on some stands, and then of course I'll wax and grease. I'll probably kind of maybe go over the whole thing one more time with just some hand sandpaper once I get it all ready, and then wax and grease and time to spray. But we got to switch gears to shop preparation now, so I'm going to actually run before they close and get a couple of 2x4s. I'm going to put some I could do it without it, but I think it's going to be a little better if I put some 2x4s in a line, and then I can staple my plastic to that, and then I'll get like some little tiny, like maybe 1 inch or whatever their smallest PVC they have, a couple sticks of that, and then I can kind of use that to roll it up and then find a way to hook it up there so I can kind of make it a curtain that will come up and down. I don't know, I'm gonna try it. I'd say that's about as close as I can get without actually running into anything. Hopefully, I brought the truck in here because instead of crawling up in the ladder 100 times, I'm going to stand in the bed of the truck and, whoa, lost control of the camera. Going to put some 2x4s up there and then start hanging the plastic down. There we go. Luckily, the price of lumber came down, so I didn't have to sell a car or a kidney to get these 2x4s. Probably should run a chalk line or something up here. Am I even gonna be tall enough? Oh man, just barely, maybe. All right, plan B. take two. Got the square body in here now. It's just a little taller. I still got to stretch a little bit. I thought this made it so I could reach pretty good, but it'll work. And I'm not going to cut 2x4 to length. This isn't like anything structural, so if it's overhanging, it'll still hold itself up there. I'm just going to kind of go right along the edge of the plastic. Good enough for what we're doing. Let's roll forward and try it again. I could drive it, but I'm used to pushing things around after having that 57 Chevy around here, so I'll just push it forward a little bit. While I'm up here, computer's on a stand here, but all this stuff, all those boxes, I guess not all of it, that's some 55 stuff there. But all these boxes is all, I got a ton of brand new stuff for the 69 Chevelle. I got a whole interior kit, carpet, seat upholstery, new gauge cluster. What else is up there? Some glass, new gas tank, some weather stripping, I think. I got almost everything I need except for an engine for that stinking 69 Chevelle. So I need to get this 55 back together so I can start driving it and then work on that Chevelle, which is planning on trying to make that one a little nicer. The 55 I'm just trying to get together and enjoy it. The Chevelle, more like you know, really nice build, LS, air conditioning, stuff like that, if I ever get to it. Moving forward. Well, it's another day out here in the Montana garage. Well, I'm not in the Montana garage yet. I'm in the house garage. Moose is out here having a snack. And in my last premiere video, people were asking about my Chevelle a little bit. So I have it hiding in here. Kind of just trying to get my 55 back together before I get started on this too much. But it's a 69. I'll give you a little sneak peek. There you go. That's all you really get right now. It's got all new body panels. Not a ounce of rust on it anywhere. It's got all the stuff to, it's not an SS, but I got all the SS emblems, SS dash. Got a full interior kit. Basically, it's like a big model. I just got to put it together. I do have an automatic tranny, but I don't have a motor for it. I'm probably going to go LS and all kinds of fancy stuff on this if I ever get there. The other thing I was just going to show you, this used to be on my old pickup truck. I'll have to zoom in, maybe you can read it, maybe you can't. I would rather be driving my 57 Chevy. So that used to be on my Ford pickup that I used to drive a long time ago. Anyways, let's get out to the garage, or the shop, the Montana garage, and get some work done. I came out yesterday and got a little bit of work done. I didn't really film anything because I wasn't doing anything real exciting. But we're trying to get prepped to get this frame sprayed. So we have a little bit different look. Hey Moose. Out here in the shop once again. I got the 55 moved over. The frame set up on my kind of makeshift paint stands. I was a little kind of sketched out, wondering if these little flimsy plastic stands were going to work, but I had Trey help me throw this up here yesterday, and hasn't fell down yet. Actually, it seems like it's going to work pretty good. So as you see, I kind of put it on some little stands so I can spray, you know, everywhere. I had to kind of keep, I might try to spin these a little bit because I had to kind of keep them in the center or it wants to tip the stand over, but that's going to be, you know, those are kind of in the way. I can still get to it, I'm sure, but that's the best way I could think of to try to get this thing so I could spray all sides, top, bottom, inside out, and not have, you know, I didn't want to have it just setting on jack stands or a chain hooked to it to where I was going to have a spot where I wasn't, you know, getting sprayed. So right now, I'm just getting sprayed. The only thing that's not getting sprayed is this little thing up here in the shock tower, which that's going to be covered. So that's how both of those are. And then both of these spots had little brackets hung on them. So hopefully, I mean, I'll touch up. Obviously, there'll be a little bare metal there when I'm done spraying. I'll either spray it something else or I'll just touch it up with a little brush or something to get it covered and protected. But I don't think any of these spots are going to be seen. So yeah, so today I'm hoping to get this sprayed. 60 degrees in the shop right now. The metal's probably a little cooler. It's getting down into the 40s at night. So I got a few tasks to take care of, and we need to wait for it to warm up a little bit anyways. You see I had this all swept up. There's a little bit of overspray from spraying the bed liner, but there's little piles of sand. I sandblasted this, and I've blown it out a bazillion times, but still every time I flip it over, more sand is falling out. So I'll come along. Obviously we'll get to clean that up again. I have one weld up here that I almost forgot to do. This is broken right there, so I'm gonna re-weld that. Get everything cleaned up, blown off, hit it with the wax and grease remover, and then I'll spray it. It says they recommend 3 coats on frames because there's lots of, you know, angles and little places that you could miss. And I'm not going to top coat this with anything else. It's going to be sprayed in the SPI Epoxy primer, and that's how I'm going to leave it, unless it doesn't turn out good, but it should turn out fine. I'll try to throw a quick little montage in here of how we got to this point, what the frame looked like and such. I know I have a lot of that stuff in some older videos that a lot of you may not have seen, and I probably have a lot of stuff that never made it into videos. So let me try to throw a quick little montage in here, get you all caught up to how we got to this point. So this is happening today. Body's going on the rotisserie. All right, so I busted the ball joint loose with the pickle fork, and then I took these 4 nuts off, the bolts that hold the lower A-arm in, and now I'm slowly releasing the tension from the spring compressor tool. Fair amount of grease on top of the frame over here. Holy crikeys. Scrapey, scrapey. Okay.
Oh, got some in the eyes.
Feel like I got sand in every orifice of my body. All right, little update. Here we are. We got the shock bar welded in place. Welds aren't the prettiest. Give you a really quick look at those. See, those looked pretty good, didn't they? Yeah, back on the pocket kit. Little update. So here's one side welded, and then this side I have ground down. All right, done messing around with these little frame repairs. So while I've been waiting to finish up the frame, I don't have I'm going to spray it with SPI Epoxy, and I don't have that on hand yet. I need to get it ordered. I guess I can't have it on hand if I don't order it, right? So probably need to get it ordered. So most of these ugly welds on this frame from the factory, I'm pretty sure they're just all stick welds or arc welds. And I have, you know, my machine will do. Hey Moose, is that your little is that your playground now? Got a little jungle gym. You know, these little welds they're all, I think they're from a stick welder. My machine does stick welding, so I was gonna try to buzz this with a little stick weld so it would try to kind of match, but I gotta have 220 to stick weld, and I have 220 in the shop, but it's way over in that corner, and the cord for the welder is like, I don't know, 3 feet long to plug it into 220. So I'm just gonna, Moose, I'm trying to show the people stuff. I'm just gonna MIG weld it, and then I'm sure my MIG weld is gonna be kind of ugly anyways, but even if it wasn't kind of ugly, maybe I'll just try to grind it a little bit flatter so it, you know, matches a little better. Not that it really matters. Mostly I just want to make sure that it's strong. So let me get the welder out. And I also noticed, I might walk around and just check everything out, but right here where Moose is at in the way again. Moose, you're in the way. There's just a little hole where they burned through on that weld. So meaningless, I'm sure, but I'll go ahead and buzzy that while I got the welder out. What do you think, Moose? Yeah, let's go get the welder. It's over there. Come on. Let's get set up. So this will give me a chance to talk about my little metal gauge tool here. Most people probably are smart enough to know kind of what gauge metal this is, but I'm not. So I got this little tool. It has kind of decimal measurements on this side for thickness, and then gauge over here. And so I'm gonna stick this on here. It's probably about 12. Oh, so that was a pretty close guess. 13. It's 13. 14 won't go on. So it's probably like 13 gauge. So then you can use that information to help if you're like me and you don't really know your welder settings that great. You're kind of, you know, a lot of people probably just can dial their welder in and know what they want to do. I haven't done it enough, so I gotta know the gauge and use that in my machine to kind of get me close. And I'll find some metal and do a couple little practice beads, because I haven't welded anything for a while and I don't want it to be terrible looking. So anyways, you can go to the link in my video description and get you one of those. All right, hopefully my camera's far enough away not to get too much welding splatter coming at you. Did a couple practice beads. I figure it's about as good as it's gonna get, which isn't gonna be great, but we'll give her a whirl here. I'm gonna push my weld. It seems like I'm a little more comfortable with that. I know a lot of people drag it or pull it. Hopefully I can get her in the right spot here. Not too bad, I guess. I don't know. Of course, like I said, it's a MIG bead, so it looks way different than those. So even though I think it looks decent, I'll probably still grind it so it's a little flatter, just so it looks a little more like the rest of them. So one last task to take care of. All right, I'll probably let the dust settle, then do that blower off again 1 or 2 more times, and we'll almost be ready. I might go ahead and hang the side curtain up before I spray. I guess it won't be in the way, and that one less thing to do after it's sprayed. So let me get on that. All right, just got done doing my hands and knees sweepy thing that you guys like so much. I'll probably do it one more time just because I want it to be dust free as I can. I'm going to hang my plastic wall right here, I've still got to wait a little bit more time. It's not quite, the metal's only at like 60 degrees, supposed to be 65. It's warming up, you know, as we go through the day here. It's getting hotter in the shop. Almost 70 in here now. So I think by the time I hang my wall, mix the primer and let it set for a while, blow everything off, sweep one more time, we'll be ready to roll. Well, that stinks. I think I got gypped a little here. That's supposed to be a 25-foot roll of plastic. I don't have my tape measure out, but I got 3 8-foot 2x4s up there. So 24-foot ends right there, but 25-foot ends right here. Something seems fishy. Anyways, I have more because I need to do this side too, but it's kind of a bummer that I was gonna have my little door kind of just be the corner, but I'm not gonna pull it down, I don't think. So I'll just have another little piece here. Oh well. All right, more plastic, what the F moments. So I grabbed another piece. This is off of a 10 by 25-foot roll also. I have it folded the same amount at the top. I basically folded up 1.5 inches the width of the 2x4 up there, so I had a couple layers of nail to or staple to. But then when I get down here to the bottom, that piece is like, I don't know, 8, 10 inches shorter than the other one. Do it best, clear plastic sheeting. I hope that's really not their best. Time to mix up some primer. So, like I've said before, me being fairly new at this, what I struggle with is how much do I need? I went to the old Google machine, and on there I found a post where some other dude sprayed SPI Epoxy on a little rubber seal on this lid just popped out on a Trifive frame. And he said in his post, he did 2 coats. I think I'm gonna do 3 because that's what SPI recommends, because there's so many angles and stuff and brackets and whatnot. It's easier to not miss something if you do 3. They say 3, I'll try to do 3. But that guy said he used 2 to 3 sprayable quarts, and then he changed it and said, well, 2 to 3 sprayable paint cups, or times he filled his paint gun, 2 to 3 times per coat. So I don't know how big his paint cup is, but mine's 20 ounces. I don't know, is that average, common, normal? I think probably they're about the same. So I'm gonna say I need 20 ounces in 3 coats, 2 times per coat. So that's, I lost my train of thought there. But anyways, I need 120 ounces based on that information. Is that close, you think? Way too much? Not enough? The stuff isn't, you know, super cheap. You know, they don't just give it away, so I don't want to waste a bunch of it. You do have, it has like a 72-hour pot life, but I'm leaving to go on a hunting trip tomorrow. So anything I don't spray today is going to be wasted. So I don't know. I'll start with that. I'm going to mix the 120-ish ounces and let it do its, what do they call it when you let it sit? I can't remember. I have to get that book thing again. Anyways, you gotta let it set for half hour or so. And then also I wanted to check temperature of it. 75. I had it in the shop here last night, and it gets kind of cool at night, but I've had it sitting out in the sun all morning, so it is plenty warm right now. So we'll mix some of this stuff up. That seems like an awful lot of primer to me. Hopefully it's about right. I just hit it with the air and sprayed it off one more time. And now I'm about to hit it with the SPI wax and grease remover. Spray a little on, wipe a little off. I'm probably not going to be able to get 100% of everywhere. But, you know, we'll do our best. So there's going to be a lot of this for the next few minutes. Let's speed it up. sure I could have probably done a better job at the wax and grease remover, but I gave it a try, you know. I know you're supposed to probably wipe and switch the rag every single time, and I used a lot of rags, and you know, there's just a bazillion little brackets, and I got her pretty good, hopefully good enough. So we'll spray her off. We gotta let it set for a minute. I gotta put some more clothes on so I don't get covered in sticky epoxy this time. I'm learning, and then we'll be back to spray.
All right, I think I'm all ready. I got gloves on this time, and I put long sleeves and my hood up. I'm not smart enough to get one of those little lightweight suits yet, so I got my hot sweatshirt on. I don't know the best place to start or the best way to do this, so I'm just gonna go for it. I know it's gonna be hard to get like inside all these nooks and crannies without getting runs everywhere, so I'm just gonna do the best I can and cross the fingers and hope for the best. Hope I'm not forgetting something. Alright, my one battery died while I was spraying, but I got the first coat on. And I don't know, it's black. I definitely got a couple runs from trying to jam paint up or primer up into these little crevices. I don't know, it's going to be what it is. I'm going to do the best I can. Yeah, you try to jam paint up in there and then you put a big bit too much on here. I don't know if maybe I should be adjusting my gun to like a little fine spray to try to jam some more in these spots. I got them pretty good. I think I'm just going to do what I'm doing, and then anything that didn't get coverage when I'm done, I'll hit with a brush or something. I don't know. So it's black. One coat down. I used not quite 2 cups of primer, 2 paint cups. So I'll probably have a little too much mixed up, but if it's not a bunch too much, I'll just keep throwing her on until it's gone. So I'm going to let it flash for a little bit, take these hot clothes off, and we'll be back for more. Alright, back for the second coat. Let me just speed it up a little bit, and hopefully it'll record the whole time this time. So the hard part now is it's already black, so you can't see, you know, where you're getting and not getting. So trying to be kind of systematic, but it'll be fun to look back on the video and see the spots I'm missing, because I'm probably missing spots. But that's why I'm going to do a third coat too. And I don't know if it's good or bad, but I'm going to have enough primer. I'll probably go ahead and do 4 coats. Because I mixed up way more than I need, I think. So we'll let this flash again and be back. Hope you can see through that plastic. And I meant to put some tape on these threads. I forgot. I'll just run a dye on them. They'll be fine. I think that's the only spot I was going to mask anything. So this is, again, after 2 coats. I don't see anything real bad. There's areas like there, it looks like it's got like a little bit of dry spray, and that's from all the different angles, I guess. I don't know what I'm doing, but hey, it looks better than it did when I started. Somewhere back here, I thought there was some runs right here somewhere. I think it's just grinding marks in the metal. I thought it was a run, but I'm sure there's runs, and I'm sure there's more dry spots, but if you stand back far enough, it looks black. That's what I was going for. So we'll do another coat or 2 and see what she looks like. All right, last coat. This is actually number 4. I had enough primer, so what the heck, huh? Alright, I'm going to call that a wrap. We got basically 4 coats on it. I had just a little tiny bit of primer left, so I made a little more than I needed. The floor's a little sticky, and I still didn't put any pants on. I said live and learn, but I guess I don't learn. You know, I think it looks pretty decent. Hopefully I did everything right, and it'll stay on there. I'm sure if we go around real hard and scrutinize, there'd be some runs, but I'm not really spotting anything right off the top of my head. You know, all these little things that look like something are just grinder marks in the frame, and I didn't want to take time to fix all that stuff up. But let's let it clear out in here a little bit. I got to clean my paint gun, and then we'll look it over a little better.
Here we are, hour and a half later. I got my other wall up, even though this plastic is that same roll that's a little too short. So hopefully it'll do the trick for tonight. Before I devise a way to roll it up, I might get another roll that will actually reach the ground, like this side over here. But a lot of overspray on the floor. I think most of that will sweep up. Looks like it. I haven't really went over it with a fine-tooth comb yet, but just walking around, I don't see any huge flaws or, what do you say, runs or drips or errors. I'm sure there's some, but for what I'm doing, I think she looks pretty darn good. It's been a long road to get the frame to this point. I'm super stoked because now I can actually start putting this car back together. What's next? I'm not sure. I want to put the body over here in epoxy also, so I can, you know, put the kibosh on the surface rust that's starting. I don't know if I'll get to that right away, or if I'll start, now that I got the frame painted, I can get it down on the ground and start putting some of the suspension on. I'm still missing, or I still need to order some pieces, but I have the rear suspension, the rear end, all that stuff. So I can start putting that together and priming the body. Those will kind of be what's next. Like I said earlier, I'm gonna be gone for 4 or 5 days for a little hunting trip here with my son. So this is just gonna sit here and cure. And then, yeah, when we get back, we'll keep on rolling along. So I appreciate you guys watching. Like, share, subscribe. We're almost to that magic 5,000 where we're gonna do some sort of other giveaway. I haven't figured that out yet. And I finally approved the stickers. I actually have stickers coming. So I owe some of you guys stickers, and then I'll let you guys know if anybody wants them. Once they get here, I'll show them off and let you know how you can get some. So again, I appreciate you guys watching. We'll catch you on the next video.